Massive response on the subject of Act 6 nerfs from Kabam and as well the community. AI still needs to be looked at and it's just not in a great place. We look into more in that subject. 5-star featured crystal, who's in it? We look, and much more. Yes, and hello everybody. Welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Wednesday. And as a lot of you know, we got a jam-packed show of news and information and stuffs to go over. So make sure to hit like button and also subscribe with post notifications on all, as I go a bit northern for no particular reason. And also just to forewarn you, this video is sponsored. It is sponsored by Manscaped.com. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global leader in men's grooming tools and hygiene solutions. Now Father's Day is fast approaching. Here's an image of me and my father, where I've just finished telling him off at my wedding because he doesn't know how to dress himself. But forget all the usual presents that you normally get for your father, like ties, gadgets and other things. Why not get him something special? Like some of the various and amazing products from Manscaped.com, like this. Pajam! That's right, the Lawnmower 4.0. Yes, help him get that dad bod to the next level with his perfect beard and body hair trimmer for the modern man. This trimmer features cutting-edge technology for dad to geek out about, including super close ceramic blades and skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks and cuts on your skin. It's certainly perfect if you want to do yourself a quick trim. That was super quick and efficient too. But wait, there's more. There's some boxer briefs, some brand new boxer briefs, the Boxers 2.0. These boxers are designed using premium super soft fabrics and are anti-chafing, cooling and tag-less, making them possibly the most comfortable boxers he'll ever wear. Which reminds me, I should recommend some boxers for Wolverine Weapon X, seeing as the fact that, well, there's some old tatty boxers, and he is a dad, X23 in Dakin, so yeah, get that man some boxers before he goes berserker mode. They're so comfortable, I'm wearing some now! The Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and the brand new Boxers 2.0 are ideal gifts for any dad, husband, soon to be dad as well, son, boyfriend, you name it. Just give them a little bit of a cheeky gift like this. Just make sure to make this Father's Day a breeze. And also do that thing from the IT crowd where Douglas Renham goes, Father! And then present him with a gift. Do that. Or go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off and free shipping when you use my code RichTheMan at checkout. That's 20% off plus free shipping with my promo code RichTheMan at manscaped.com. Manscaped. Always use the right tools for the job. Which is a good point because I've always been getting these two mixed up. Thank God it says Manscaped on it. Hair removal, saving the universe. I get it now. Yes, thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video, and it was a lot of fun making that particular promo. In any case, we're going to get down to business, starting with 5-star featured crystal. Recently dropped, I think it was yesterday this dropped, and there's been some, well, there's some interesting champions within it. Very old school, we've gone a little bit OG with some stuff. Yes, we've got the new ones, which is the likes of Cat Wilson, Omega Sentinel, which I know a lot of players will look to get and want to get for reasons of prestige and other reasons of effectiveness of the champion. As well as Black Cat, Misty Knight, Captain Britain, Sauron. It's good to see like some new champions in, but also some of the older champions as well. And also with this, we always kind of go like, well, whether or not some of these will kind of denote future buffs to champions along the line, which if that would be the case, then that would be amazing, especially to see a potential Doctor Strange buff, a Yondu buff, maybe even a Beast buff, a Daredevil Classic buff. So could these be new buff champions of the future? Potentially, probably not, but you know, we've got to be hopeful about these things, especially because Mordo's recently been buffed within the confines of this, so who knows? That would be great. Imagine a Doctor Strange OG buff, and imagine as well all the ones I just mentioned being buffed. That would be super cool. And now let's move on and talk about Enemy A.I. As a lot of you know, Enemy A.I can either be very trollish, it can be very welcoming, it can be, well, it can be how it is at the moment, which is not kind of limited to some of the stuff that's been put here in this thread, which is walking forward, throwing lights out of nowhere when they would have dashed before catching us off guard, throwing lights out of nowhere when back against the wall, making heavy chaining tough with some champions, being so against throwing specials, and that's a really big problem at the moment. Spending up to a minute baiting specials in time-sensitive content is so demoralizing. That I really agree with. Stuttering sometimes, so you dash back ready to evade, dex parry, or whatever. But since they stuttered, they've been initiate the dash and catch you, almost like a false start in a sprint. Not being able to dash forward after knocking opponents down and catching them as they stand up. That's annoying as well. Used to do something, but can't do it now. Dashing back and holding heavy sometimes doesn't work and input doesn't register. This is notable champions like Tiger, Karnak, She-Hulk who needs a heavy counter. Not, it's limited to that, but it's so much more with it. How are you finding Enemy AI at the moment? As we said, it's something that I've personally been talking about. It's something that Kabam Response said recently he would look into, or it would be investigated or reported. Or it's been reported, I think it was. But nothing's really come out from it. I do think very strongly that this needs to be looked into. The same way each and every month, things are the fundamentals of the game, which is, you fight against an enemy. This is a fighting game. You have to move on a screen, swiping and tapping. And that has to be always known that that's working correctly and working well. And the same thing with Enemy AI. That needs to be always looked into as to like how it's performing, how players feel about the movements of the enemy champion, because it's very adaptive. And yes, the Enemy AI probably adapts to us and is probably built that way. But at the same time, it's all about, again, momentum. And as we said here, it says here, things can feel demoralizing. We want to have good momentum. That's how a fight works. You want to feel like you are in the fight rather than feeling like I'm waiting for the enemy to throw something. And a lot of the time it's like when you go towards them, that's the wrong move, which is weird because you kind of think, isn't that the right move? The best offense is best defense, best defense, best offense. Man, Enemy AI. Thoughts in the comment section. How do you feel about the current state of Enemy AI? And now we move on to the big story. The big story is Act 6 nerfs. Now, this is something that I personally like, but there are some people out there that don't like the idea of these being changed. Act 6 in general has a very kind of weird relationship on time within the game. And that time is really like, at what point was this causing frustrations for players? From gating systems to other elements when this was added in, it did cause frustration for players. I've seen some pretty, different takes on this matter. One player here said this is pretty disappointing to see since 100% Act 6 prior to the first nerf, and it's making it significantly easier for players to get Thronebreaker whilst over the past 2 years. It's been a challenge for those otherwise. This change seems unnecessary as Act 6 and Thronebreaker are supposed to be hard achievements to get, and overall by changing the difficulty greatly reduces the achievement. I don't see there's no correlation there, so that's incorrect about getting Thronebreaker, because 100%ing Act 6 or doing the completion of Act 6 gets you at least kind of closer to Thronebreaker, but by doing 6.2.6 changes to the boss fight, it's not going to do that. It really isn't. But if you're talking about the lines of, okay, reducing down the values of the champions you're going up against, kind of, but that Grandmaster fight is still something that hasn't been nerfed. So yeah, if anybody didn't know, the Grandmaster fight has not been nerfed. It's going to stay the same. And it's still a very annoying fight to do. It's something that I've still got to return back and do, but yeah. But also, I like to see these positive posts, and you have to bear in mind, there's some people picking up the game for the first time. It was nice doing some live streams recently and having new players come in and asking questions about just the basic things, about they're just starting off in game, going through that early story progression. And I think that's the point of getting people just right the way through and interested to continue on with the game. One of the biggest problems is being veteran players. We will look back at some of this content now and go like, oh, did it? Oh, you don't know how hard it was when you did it. But the best thing and most important thing is to get new players playing this game. As old players, veteran players quit the game and they bugger off, it's important to get new players coming in to continue playing. Now, if you reach 6.2.6 boss fight and go, oh, this is really frustrating and I'm really angry, and it's giving you a bad taste in the mouth, then will you want to play the game any further if you're not getting any kind of joy from it? And I'm not saying it should be easy to grind, but what you want to feel is when you play a game that you are satisfied at the end of it and going, I had fun. And that's just the big thing about Marvel Contest. There's this big divide between skill-based and frustration and fun and not easy, but kind of challenging enough. And that divide there is always hard to get this kind of just like synchronized kind of element between it. But it's certainly nice to see that players here saying, I finished everything in game, including Korean's Challenges 1 and 2, and I must say that this is a great addition. At the moment, Act 6, especially 6.2, is harder than 8.1 and all Act 7 combined. This way, people will progress in a steady fashion rather than burn couple Odins on one chapter in Act 6, which is great for people with multiple accounts as well as mid-tier players. Although it cost me 5 to 7k units to explore Act 6, I'm okay with the change, which is going to make more people catch up with the next progression of the game and focus on Abyss and Creator's Challenges, which is, you know, it's a good point with that. And also it's nice to see, like, again, a follow-up thing where this is a very good point. I'm guessing that changes are necessary based on data of folks who just stopped in Act 6. So if you've kind of like, if Kabam's seen data to say that, okay, there's 100,000 Marvel Contest of Champions accounts that could have gone to Act 6.2 like 100%ing, but what they've done is data shown that they have, like, you know, for those 100,000, 80,000 have not 100%ed Act 6.2.6, say within, I don't know, between 2020 when the first kind of changes came in and like 2022, which is now. Then Kabam have to look at that data and take it very, very seriously, because it does pinpoint that why aren't players being able to do it? For me personally, and the reason I haven't done it is it's not interesting me anymore. And one of the other things that comes up from that is that once you get things like Act 6-star rank 4 materials, that is my focus point. I don't really have to go back to Act 6.2. So if there's nothing driving me back to do the content, then why should I bother doing it? I should be focusing more on Korean's Challenges that are, and also story mode content that kind of benefits giving those materials as my chase reward at the moment. But regardless of which, Kabam responds to this particular thread saying, wow, quite perplexing by the reaction. I understand everyone has different opinions on Act 6, and most of us tackled it when it was first available years ago. But for those players that hit it right away, also had several years to build their skills, masters, roster, blah, 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 blah. Act 6 may have been intended to be difficult when it was released, but as you know, it took a very different turn and how we approach Act content after Act 6, as evidenced in Act 7 and the 8.1 beta. On the topic of difficult content, this should no longer be part of the equation. There's other content to satisfy the itch, whether that's Abyss, Korean's Challenges, Eternity of Pain, and other unannounced content that we're working on. Nobody, well, maybe a few people, is going back to Act 6 to complete more paths because they want difficult content. So it's all about looking in the future. We made these changes for all those that are stuck on Act 6 right now and those that will face it in the future. If you are unsatisfied with the direction and supply of other content, there's no reason to take it out on player-friendly changes that will make this game more accessible for more players. And that's good. That's exactly what we need to do. We need to encourage more new players to come to this game and not feel that they want to quit by Act 6.2 because, you know, it's messing around with their mind too early. But in any case, there was a question which was about Korean's Challenges, and this is something that's still yet to be answered. So there is a question. I have one question: how's it going to affect the choice node to Korean's Challenges? Now, from what I gather, that is being discussed right now, and that particular answer will come out very, very soon. Not sure when soon is, but you know, when's compensation? Soon. When's soon? Nobody knows. So yeah, watch this space and we'll hopefully have a report on that very, very soon. Now we end the show on a Wednesday as we normally do with arena predictions for Beast and Icarus. Prediction I'm going with is, and this is the thing, I think that Beast might go a lot lower. There could even be a case that he'll go a lot less as a featured versus the 6-star Icarus. But yeah, anyway, featured 60 mil for 6-star Beast, 5-star 30 mil, 6-star Icarus 55 mil, 5-star Icarus 15 mil. How do I come to this conclusion? Well, it's just going back to some of the data from some previous arenas. Like recently we had Doc Ock go for 52 mil. So look, there's every possibility. And look, here's the thing. You know, if you want to get like a champion for something like Korean's Challenge, then do it. I should have mentioned with Doc Ock several weeks ago to go for it, because it would have been a good opportunity for players to get it banked for Korean's Challenges. But, you know, up to you, how you go, where you grind and all that stuff. And finally, we end by saying thank you very much to those that support the channel as a YouTube member and as a Patreon. You're on screen now. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And also those that support on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. You're on screen now. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming live stream. Thank you and good night. Oh yeah, and check out some other content on screen right now. You know, all this lovely stuff. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.